I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need that money. I need that money. I really, really do. I need that money. I really need that money. Really need that money. Really, that money. That money.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the show. We already have technical issues.
Serious technical difficulties are assailing the stream. How shitty is my mic, Phil?
Your mic actually sounds good, and I actually have you on screen. No, it actually looks good.
Way. No
Can't believe
way. We did it after more than a half hour of me loafing, ghosting, and snaking Phil. I finally made it to the show.
Yeah.
Let's go.
The big return show.
It's the return of PPP. Finally, PPP has returned to Smart Guys.
That's right. No one misses me. I never leave. I'm always here. But you're coming back here.
You're always here, Phil. You need a vacation, bud. You gotta go to the zoo or whatever.
The zoo.
Is that what they're saying? You gotta go to the zoo, buddy?
Gotta go to the zoo. For some reason, this is like a thing. They want me at the zoo with my wife, documenting every moment.
Did you say you were gonna go to the zoo with your wife, Phil?
Yeah, like 5 years ago.
And then why didn't you go?
Because we didn't get there. For whatever reason. I don't even remember originally.
An hour away, Phil.
I know, it's not even an hour away.
What are you, being a loafy, lazy piece of shit like me?
That's right.
And not showing up on time to the zoo, Phil?
Well, for me, it's because life gets in the way. But for you, it's because wireless gets in the way. So.
But you know, listen, this fucking lesbo Lex showed up to the zoo. Why can't you?
Oh, I didn't even know that. I'm so out of the loop with all that shit.
But you're seething about it all week long. You're seething that Iron Chef Kakai gave. I told you not to trust him.
Oh, and I didn't. He didn't. He got nothing. He got no
snake, buddy.
He got no sword back. He got nothing. Nothing at all.
It was your money he sent to this lesbo. What are we doing, bud?
You gotta wonder whose money it is, actually. The amount that he's dropping at this point, it's like, where's that money coming from? I don't know if it's could it possibly even be from his job?
You saying it's from Epstein or something, Phil? What are
Maybe.
you saying?
It could be like some Middle Eastern oil money or something, you know?
No, Phil, no. Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, well, we're back here on Smart Guys' momentous occasion. Speaking of heel turns, speaking of Year of the Snake.
Yes.
We have had the heel turn of the century, a generational heel turn, up there with Hulk Hogan turning heel, up there with Stone Cold Steve Austin turning heel. Maybe, the greatest heel turn of all time, depending on how it turns out. Maybe it'll be a flop, maybe it'll be huge. But people have been asking for this for how long now? Almost 20 years.
Right.
Like, I would say since about 2009, 2008 is really when people turned on Cena.
Yeah.
Even in 2006 and 7 at the ECW shows, he was getting fucking booed hard. In Toronto, he was getting booed hard. There was always a lot of resistance to him after that first long title run that he had.
Yes.
Where he was... And,
it was always, for me, when I used to do this show over a decade ago, right? It was WWE would do awesome stuff. They'd have, CM Punk comes in, he becomes the people's voice, and these awesome plots. And then it was always John Cena, same character, always the ultimate face, always almost like that Hulk Hogan before he turned character, trying to be the goody two-shoes for the kids. And it made everything always taste bad because you're like, even as much as they do good, that this thing will never change, even when it makes sense. Like, for me, this is a momentous thing because around the time when I stopped doing this show a decade ago was around the time when you had those two matches between Rock and Cena at WrestleMania. And everyone said the matches were good, but can you imagine how fucking good they would have been if Cena went heel on The Rock instead of face versus face, which they just wanted to keep doing over and over.
A lot of people are feeling the same way.
Yeah. Unos did a $5 super chat. Phil and PPP, did you hear that RTU has threatened Kingslytee, who's a black creator, with slurs? And then he threatened Grace Thorpe with a shotgun.
Yeah, so I saw he called this black guy an Uncle Tom, which it's like, who the fuck are you to call him that, Rich? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Wait a
And
minute.
then,
You can't. I mean, that's totally, listen, if you're going to call someone that, you have to be in that situation. You know what I mean? Like if it was another black guy calling him that, I would totally understand it. But why the hell is he saying
I
that?
don't know. Rich is just seething because this guy blew him the fuck out with facts and logic. The guy came with receipts and evidence to back up his points. And Rich was just a blubbering, retarded fool who started seething. And then he decided, okay, well, I'm going to make it political. And it ended up backfiring on him. And now there's a bunch of backlash because he called this guy an Uncle Tom.
What a dunce.
And it's just the guy has a disagreement with Rich. It doesn't mean that he's shucking and jiving for massa on the plantation. And by the way, Rich, it is fucked to take anybody who's right-leaning, who's black, and call them an Uncle Tom. It really robs agency from black people. Not like I'm the biggest champion of black people, but like it really does take their agency away to say, no, you can only be on the Democratic plantation. You know, that's where it's fucked, Rich. But then Rich, like the lunatic that he is, invited the Thorpes to his house. Which, what are you thinking, Rich? What are you thinking, bro? What are you thinking? Like, don't do that. Well, then, of course, it doesn't work out, and he cancels on them, but they don't give a fuck, because they're out for content. So they come to his fucking house, they're streaming outside his house. So what does Rich do? Well, he escalates it even more. He goes out and buys a shotgun, which he's not even legally allowed to have in the state of New York, because he's a medical marijuana holder. And so I imagine it was his father who bought this shotgun. But Rich admits to being very mentally ill. He's on a plethora of medications that make him an irresponsible gun owner. And, you know, I'm big in favor of the Second Amendment. You know, I believe that anybody should be able to get a gun and defend themselves. But one person who I might make an exception for would be Rich of Reviewtechusa. I'm not sure he can handle the responsibility of being a firearm owner, because he's fucking nuts. He's fucked in the head.
People think I'm joking.
20.
People think I'm joking when I say that man is mentally ill, but I'm not joking. Like, his actions prove that he is not right in the head. I mean, the things he does, just in regards to me, his level of obsession with me, I built this Lego behind me. So what did he have to do? He had to run out and buy the same fucking Lego set and build it, just because I built it. There was no rhyme or reason to it. He just had to copy me because that's who he is. So, I mean, he's nuts. You're going to give this guy weapons and oh my God. Well, I don't know anything about that.
I don't think he could have bought it. And I believe there's a 6-month waiting period as well. So I'm not really sure how this weapon was obtained.
Yeah.
It would have had to have been Rich's father or mother or somebody else. Like, they have like 10 people living in that house. Like, it's a fucking ghetto or something like this, crammed in under the floorboards. Somebody in that house acquired it. Or maybe Rich just took an image off Google. I don't fucking know. But from what I understand, he shouldn't be able to have that firearm because he has a medical marijuana card, and the state of New York disqualifies you. We'll see what ends up happening with all of that. I just think it's always a bad idea to escalate that shit.
Right.
And I feel like he should just ignore them and try and move on with his life, but he has to get the win because he's a big, tough guy. I'm from New York. We don't play.
He's the mob boss, the New York mafioso.
It's time to get a grip, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you're a 400-pound nerdy fucking guy. Like, let's all just get a grip here. But no.
We've got a building construction worker with a $5 super chat. Speaking of real, do you guys ever go to a local wrestling match? It's fun, and the crowd is also entertaining. I used to attend Raw and SmackDown when they were actually in, like, Connecticut when I lived there. I went to multiple Raw and SmackDown shows. I haven't seen anything since I moved out here to Washington.